Hello everyone and welcome. Today we have a speed build and this is what we are building today. So it's a beautiful little brick and black is what I'm calling it. A little brick building with, well, building, it's a home, and it has lots of black trim. So it has got sort of like those dark sort of industrial elements. I wouldn't say it's like a fully industrialized kind of home. It's just got like a little bit of an industrial vibe in what is kind of more it's a contemporary style with like sort of a bit of industrial vibe thrown in, I guess is the best way to describe that. So it is a 2-story home, and I will tell you later when I see the floor layout how many bedrooms and baths there is in it, because I can't remember. I only built it the other day, but of course I've forgotten. So I'm just working on the roofs at the moment, so I am sort of splitting them and molding them around the top level. I'm going half and half on the end there because I am planning, or I was thinking about having that as like part of that as a sunroof, or having that like really to be glass basically, because the end of the build, the left hand when you're looking from the front, the right hand when you're looking from this direction, but the left hand there, that was very glass driven, and I actually quite liked that, and I wanted to sort of build on that element of that part of the house as much as I could, because I thought that was had like a really cool vibe and look to it, quite modern, which I appreciate. I do love a modern build, but I love it like a traditional build as well. I love all the builds pretty much. There's not much I don't like, to be honest, but my soul kind of leans towards more modern. I think. I don't know. There's a lot to be said for it. It's like, there's a lot of nice things about all styles of builds, but you can see the sunroof going in there. So this is going to have like quite a, almost like a conservatory kind of vibe to that side of the house. It was, in the inspiration, it was like quite a lot of glass as well. It didn't stick out like I've done it. It was actually quite flat, but I wanted to sort of make it a little bit more pronounced. I'm just extending it by one because the door that I wanted to use, that one there, and that's from Island Living, I believe. It was not quite wide enough to handle that door, as well as like 2 windows on the either side, so I had to extend it a little bit, but I think that worked really nicely. And so it's like a lot of open, like you can see these people doing what they're doing and going about their lives kind of vibe there. So it is what it is. Now this top window and the window box underneath it, oh my gosh, I struggled with that so much. Like you can sort of see me settle on a triple pane window from base game and the flower box with the purple underneath it, but it was bugging me. So you'll see me go back to it, and I probably go back to it a few times until I actually find a solution, because the inspiration had a black window box with like a green, sort of just like a green planter kind of underneath, and we didn't have that in the game, and it was like the window was a little wider. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in the snowy escape windows and then extending that window box, but it's still bugging me that that's purple. I don't want that purple, and it's just, it is bugging me. I'm using the Get Together plain columns just to edge the building there, so that's what I'm using there from Get Together. That is my favorite column. I love that column. It's the best. And so just starting to decide on the colors that I'm going to do on the paving. So I just went with I don't know what I went with. It's certainly grey. I don't remember. No, I don't remember. But what I'm doing now is I'm actually just creating like little planters that then they're going to go wrap around the whole sort of side of the porch, which ends up looking really cool. I like this. It ended up looking very neat. So I liked that there, and I was like, I wonder what I can do about that. So this is me contemplating if I'm going to wrap the porch around the side. So I'm just going to do a little seating area. Like in the inspiration, it had like a little seating area just like this, and I thought that looked really cool on the nice sort of open porch, because the porch itself didn't have like a fence around it. But then I wrapped this around here, and decided that it actually would look really cool to do a bit more of that brick with the green, because I really like the red brick with green. There's something really nice about that. I don't know, it just looks really stylish. That's my opinion anyway. So I'm just doing a little bit more of that same thing, just using one of the base game bushes, shrinking it down by one, and then popping it in the middle, because they actually sit really nicely in that little half fence, that 1x1 sort of half fence vibe. And then just doing like a little bit more of a sort of a porch area, I guess, in the downstairs. And I just inset the stairs as well. Oh, this is just me working on what I want to do for a privacy fence. I can't remember what I used. Oh yeah, I just used the Eco Lifestyle one, just the plain one, because I thought the larger privacy fence just is a little bit too large, you know, you just like was ruining your view. So I'm just going to do some landscaping. I'm going to get some little bits and pieces. So mainly I'm going to use those tall sort of cypress trees. I was like, no, trees is the word I'm going for. Cypress trees. And dark green bushes. I'm just sticking with one sort of color palette, so I'm doing like a monochrome garden, so it's just green on green on green, and using a bit of debug mostly, because these plants aren't available in game mostly. Like the cypress tree obviously is, but those darker green bushes and stuff, like there's a brighter green version that you get with base game, but there's a darker version in debug, which is actually nicer, and I prefer to use that. So that's what I used. So just like little patches of bushes, because I thought that would be cute. I mean, this is only I think this is a 30 by 20 lot. No, this is the 20 by 20 lot, I think, actually. I'm building in Tomarang, which is the for rent world, and it does have like a 20 by 20 lot in it. So I think that is the lot that I am building on. Pretty certain, in fact, because it is a square lot, so that makes sense. And so I'm just working out what to do with the windows. So in the upstairs area, I'm using the Snowy Escape windows. The reason that I'm using Snowy Escape is that they are shorter windows, and when you've got like a roof sitting underneath it, sort of cutting off some of your window space, that's actually quite a good window to use, whereas I'm using the Eco Lifestyle windows on the bottom area because that is a full pane window, and we obviously don't have anything interrupting that on the bottom floor. So that's the choices that I went with in the window. So two styles there, so Eco Lifestyle and Snowy Escape, and as I mentioned, I use the Island Living sliding doors down the bottom. So this is all sort of coming together in the bottom area, so I think I've just got like a little bit more decorating to do on the outside, and then we'll just about be ready to move on the inside. It was actually quite a quick build for me. It just all sort of, you know, sometimes you just have a build and it flows, like you just sort of get into it, and like the decisions aren't that hard, and it just kind of goes boom boom boom. You know, this was not 100% like that, but somewhat like that. Like decisions were quite easy to be made in this, because this was, I think, a style that I liked and was comfortable with, and kind of had an idea in my head as I sort of like did each section of what sort of stuff I wanted to use. Like, you know, it's obviously going to be points where you have to flick through. Like you can see me here, I'm just flicking through different plant ideas and stuff like that for the front porch as I'm sort of working through what I want. But I still kind of have like a pretty solid idea in my head, you know, the colours and that sort of thing, and how it's sort of going to go. I didn't want those shoes on the front porch. It was like, no. But then I found like this really cool big vase, because I was thinking about vases, because there's not something that I use all that often on the exterior. So it was actually quite funky to use these sort of vases on the exterior and just sort of mix it up a little bit, you know. It's nice, it's fun. So I'm just fixing up the windows at the moment on the exterior, and now working out where we're going to put the stairs. And I was like, no, I don't want the stairs there. Because, you know, having stairs like right in the middle of the build is not always ideal, particularly if you still have to, you've got to make a good floor plan that flows, right? So stair placement is pretty important. Okay, so 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. I remember now. I almost always tell immediately once I get to the interior as to what my room placement was, because it'll refresh my memory. So it's going to be all the living stuff downstairs. So it'll be living room, kitchen, dining, and there is the bathroom and bedroom upstairs. And yeah, once again, like, it just came together like really quickly. I did forget to put a door towards the bathroom, which I didn't realize until towards the end of decorating the bedroom, but I did remember at least eventually. So I saw that bead from Eco Lifestyle. I was like, oh, I like that with the black and the blue. So I did a blue wallpaper because I thought that would actually work really nice. It sort of coordinates with the bed. And I feel like it worked really nicely with the vibe of the house as well, because we're still bringing that black through. But I didn't want to go black and red on the interior as well. So diverging slightly towards the blue, I think worked really nicely. So I just put some shelves up above the Moschino clothing rack, and I'm just going to I'm using the Dream Home Decorator cubby shelf just to drag things across so that I can put some makeup and bits and pieces on there, like, kind of like a faux dresser, I guess. Storage space so that we can get, some bits and pieces and knickknacks up there, which is always good. It's always nice to have like a little bit of storage space, so you can put your things on. I mean, I find that in real life. So, I was fussing around with those magazines because they were clicking onto something, and it was like really, really irritating. And then I'm just looking for a picture just to go above there. So that is the milkshake one, which was backyard stuff, maybe. Oh, you know what? And I thought that was a really cool seat just to mix it up in that room and add like a little bit of texture to the room. That I think it's from Cats and Dogs, actually. It's not like a modern seat, but I thought like mixing styles would actually be quite cool, and I really liked the check of the blue in that chair. So I was like quite chuffed with myself with doing that one. I was like, ooh, that's kind of designy, having like mixed textures and stuff. And also, I'm bringing in a trend from 2024, which is to have pendant lights hanging down over your end tables rather than using lamps. So I'm doing that as well. And also, I used a clock in a room, which I hardly ever remember to do as well. So Velvet is doing all right in this build. So I'm just looking for the perfect rug to go underneath. I'm not using any kits in this build, so this is a kit-free build. And I was trying to put something on. I was trying to put something on there, and I couldn't. I was like, it was irritating me. I was like, there's space here. Why can't I put things on there? But it just would not let me put things on there. I'm about to realize that I forgot to put a door to the bathroom in there because I'm about to build the bathroom, I think, and then I realize. And I mixed dark brown in the room as well, and I thought that actually added a touch of warmth, because blue can be quite a cold color, obviously. So bringing in the brown. And this is another trend for 2024 when it comes to design, is really going for those warm vibes. So like your new neutral tones and stuff like that are sort of like your creams, and going into your sort of chocolate tones and sort of your apricots and, stuff like that. So leaning away from the harsher sort of cold colors and leaning into more of the warm colors. And that is what I was thinking about as I put the dark chocolate rug underneath with the blue and the black, just to bring that warm color in with the slightly colder colors. And I think that worked really nicely. Now, I did need to turn, I have actually play tested this house, and I did need to turn the bath around, but it did work with the divider there. So that was nice. I'm probably going to do that trick again. I actually quite like that. It's like, a little touch of privacy, but fun, like kind of fancy as well at the same time, which I really like. I'm just adding in some shelves so it can add some more clutter and bits and pieces there. Actually, I'm putting the towels on the shelf, and I think clutter on the other shelf. Yes, doing a bit of clutter on there, and then I'll end up having to move it anyway because I decided to do something different. Well, slightly. I just have to move it over because I realized that I needed to put my sink under there, because I was like, oh, I'm really not sure if we're actually going to be able to walk through to the bath if I leave the sink there. So I was like, all right, shove everything over a little bit, move the sink over, and that should work. So that's what I did. Oh, I just needed to fix the height, because obviously you're going to have that at the right height, otherwise the items are floating, which is not ideal. And I'm just using the Growing Together mirror, basin, and hand towels there. I'm using the MyFitnessStuff shower. I can't remember the toilet. Just base game towels. And what am I going to do there? Oh, do I put a picture in? Oh yes, I put a couple of pictures in as well. So those are from Snowy Escape. And I mixed it up. I did the reverse of the bedroom. So I did like white walls and blue on the floor rather than having blue on the wall. So I thought that was quite a neat little change around for the bathroom. That worked quite nicely. Now we are ready to get to the downstairs area. So I'm just working out how the flow is going to go. So the kitchen is going to go right here. So you can see there's sort of the fridge going in here. I'm just deciding which fridge and aka which style we're going to have. So I'm using the Home Chef Hustle counters. Why on earth did I not use... that's weird. I'm just thinking, why didn't I use the oven and fridge from Home Chef Hustle? Weird. Anyway, so I'm just blocking off the living area. So we're going to do that as a wholly separate room. It is very on trend at the moment to have like a separate dining area as well, but it just didn't work with the layout of the house to have that separate. But what I did is I put in like a little half wall just to give it that sort of vibe of being a separate room. So I think that works quite nicely. And I'm just using the Dream Home Decorator table and chairs with a little touch of flowers on the table, which I think I'd end up changing to condiments anyway, and just using those really good paintings that I forget which pack they're from. Is it Cats and Dogs? Yes, I think it might be Cats and Dogs. So just using the Fitness Stuff pack little triangle end table, which is actually quite a neat little table to put in a corner because it's a triangle. And, you know, corners are kind of that triangular shape. Oh, genius. So I just put like the Wedding Stories tea set on there, because I thought, you know, it'd be nice to have like the little tea set in there. And I'm just continuing what I did upstairs and bringing in like the touches of the brown as the rugs. I'm using just the base game round light as well. I do like that light. Now I just sort of felt like it was like I needed something in the middle. So I'm just working on having cabinets running through the middle, and this will be like a bit of an evolving thing, but I do get there in the end, because it just kind of, yeah, I am contemplating putting like cabinets there. Then I'm thinking, oh no, it kind of closes it off, and then I'll like rotate around and go back to that. So just getting like some more bits and pieces of clutter into the kitchen area. I didn't go too wild on the clutter, although I did get bits and pieces in there, but I was conscious of leaving cabinets free so they're nice and accessible by the Sims, and you know that they can get their cook on, and maybe you can have one or two Sims in there cooking, rather than, you know, it all being, there not being much space, like there's only one cooking counter space. It's always nice to have more than one, you know. So now I'm just thinking about the hall area and what I'm going to do there. So this was quite a small space, but the Dream Home Decorator table actually worked really nicely there, so I put that in there. And then again, I had like another small space by the half wall that I've done. So I'm thinking about that while I'm getting like the bits and pieces of clutter up and what I'm going to do there. So I'm just doing like the plain black half rug in front of the door, and then the Dream Home Decorator little bench I thought would be good. Because if you like putting on your shoes or whatever and you want to, like, you know, you're having trouble, your foot's not quite squeezing in right, you know, that sort of thing. Maybe you want to sit down by the door and get your shoes on that way. So just doing a little bit of clutter on the end table. And again, I'm not using kits, so I had to venture out of my usual, which would be to use the everyday clutter kit and just do all the bits and pieces there, because it's obviously that clutter kit is absolutely great for doing your like hall entrance kind of area. So when I'm not using kits, I kind of have to get a little bit more creative on the hall area. I'm just using the Fitness Stuff pack. I actually use the Fitness Stuff pack a little bit in this build. So those are the rugs from that particular pack. I'm just using the Paranormal Stuff pack plant. or is it spooky? I always forget. I know the Obsessed Simmer has like told me time and time again which one it is, and I just cannot have it. I just cannot retain that information in my head. You know how there's like things where you just cannot retain something. It's just like you hear it like 6-7 times and it's still just like, it's just not staying in your brain. It's just one of those things. It's not going to stay in my brain. It's got like a little green symbol with like a little ghost face. So whatever pack that is, I feel like it is paranormal, but I could be wrong. Yes, because spooky is a pumpkin. Okay, paranormal. There we go. I got there in the end. 10 minutes later. So we're going to just run all those counters out from the kitchen and just have like the one grid space entrance to the kitchen. So it's sort of like a long, narrow kitchen, but it does give it like a lot more space. And I just used the Spa Day hall table as just like a little I was having trouble with it snapping, the hall table as like a little extra console table where I'm going to put some little bits and pieces on there just to make it not feel like it's just like the back of all the kitchen counters, although I couldn't do too much about it in the dining area. I didn't want to like clutter it in too much and have it too squishy. So this is where I'm switching out the condiments on the table for like the vase on the table for the condiments, just putting like a little vase on there. And now we are moving into the living area. So I kept it pretty uniform, I guess, in a way, in terms of the walls. So I just kept it blue on the walls, plain and simple, and then just like added the life to the build through the furnishings and the decoration and stuff like that. I think that's fairly standard. I think a lot of the times it depends on what kind of house you're doing and how you want to, like if you were doing like a maximalist house, for example. I mean, obviously you're going to be thinking about maybe bringing in like bold floral wallpapers or something like that, but then again, like with a maximalist room, that makes sense because you're going to have like bold wallpapers, you're going to have bold patterns on your furnishings, you know, that sort of thing. So it does depend, but yeah, a lot of the decoration and the vibrancy and the build, you know, the walls are just like the background, and then like all the furnishings and bits and pieces that I've chosen are kind of like the stars of the show. That's kind of the idea anyway. So I'm using a couch I don't use too often, but it kind of ended up working. I think that's from the luxury party pack. Is that the one? I think so. And these chairs I've never used. So I think what are they from? Were they from Machino? From the Machino stuff? I used a bit of stuff pack stuff in this build, but anyway, I actually thought those chairs worked really nicely with that couch. Like it's quite a modern style, like boxy and kind of square, simple lines. Yeah, so I kind of went with that. I put a little poof in by the TV, just like to add like a little touch of white and also to have like a little bit of extra seating. Again, I'm using the Spa Day end table. I'm just going to put some little bits and pieces of clutter on there. And then I had this little space in the corner. I was like, you know what? I think I can actually fit a little desk in there. So I'm using the tiny home stuff packs. Still using those stuff packs, eh? You know, those stuff packs are really good for, a lot of them are good. Some of them are good. A good chunk of them are good, but they are really useful for furnishing and that sort of thing. And I'm really excited to get a new stuff pack out. What's it called? It's the jewellery one. I can't remember what it's called though, but I'm excited to get that out. It actually may be out by the time this build comes out, so we'll see. It'll just about be out if it's not out already. I'm excited to get that. I'm always excited to get new things though. Like, you know, as soon as there's new things in the game, I'm like, yes, I want them. Because I have zero patience, and I guess I'm a 2-year-old. So I want it now. I want it now. Just trying to decide on a painting, and then I think we are just about done. I just need to put like a little rug under here and maybe like a couple of other touches. But yeah. That has been our build. It's I think it's really lovely. It's clean, it's modern, but it has got like touches of warmth as well. So I'm very happy about how that came out. So let's take a tour of what we did. So this is the exterior. So I am using, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to think. So I'm using Love Shade Vogue by Hazel Mind for the reshade on the exterior. And then, no, I did that all the way through. So I didn't change that on the interior. So this is how it all sort of came out in the end. So it was just sort of mixing touches of black with to break up the brick. And I think that was quite effective. I did contemplate like doing 2 different colors in the build, but I thought that just the way that we were using the black trim and the windows and everything like that, that kind of broke up the brick enough that we didn't need to have 2 colors. So this is the hall and kitchen and dining area on the interior. So it's a lot of black, but I think we break it up with the light colored walls and the light colored flooring. So I think that works really nicely. Lots of bright touches in that room with the flowers and a bit of the gold and the white, and obviously the brown flooring as well. Now upstairs, this is our gorgeous little bathroom. I think that actually came out really nicely. I quite like that bathroom, and then the bedroom through here. So using the little touches of blue. I love that little chair in the corner. I think that's really neat, and lots of like pretty clutter. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.